To those that's going to be watching this live a little bit later on, I believe the sound is pretty good. I'm going to just probably just start. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power who deserves it. Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakak, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word in the same sound doctrine, the same Spirit. Lord willing that you all continue to endure and be sincere. And shalom to the Akwatiyam, believers of His faith and His truth. Lord willing the same Spirit that you pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife, and that you continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Right? The water to the red part, saying that sound is clear. Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Right? Again, this lesson is inspired by my chapter readings that I do at work. Even the videos that I was watching, but it's a verse that we all know, but it hit me on another level. And when you read something over and over again, sometimes certain verses hit you again in another way. So really, what we're going to tackle is Luke the 13th chapter, verse 24. It's a simple verse, but it means so much. I'm reading the KJV and the NLT, and Lord willing, we can dissect it and get some understanding and motivate ourselves, right? So, verse 24 in the KJV, it says, "Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in, and shall not be able." I'm going to start at I'm going to read 25 too. "When once the master of the house is risen up and have shut to the door, ye begin to stand without, to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. Yet he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not, whence ye are." In the NLT, it says, work hard to enter the narrow door to God's kingdom. For many will try to enter, but will fail. When the master of the house has locked the door, it will be too late, right? That master is Yahawah, the door is Yahawashi. It will be too late. You will stand outside knocking and pleading, Lord, open the door for us. But he will reply, I don't know you or where you come from. Now, before we dissect that verse 24, because I want to pay attention to the word strive, right? This is Luke, the 13th chapter, verse 24 and 25. But I want to go to Matthew, the 25th chapter, because You see how they said they were knocking at the door and they said, open unto us. So when you go to Matthew, the 25th chapter, and we're going to start at verse 2, but the point is, verse 11. Lord willing, you pay close attention. Matthew 25, starting at verse 2. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. The example of the elect and the 2/3. It says, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. In the NLT, it shows you that the wise took extra olive oil. And coming to serve the Lord, not everybody's going to take extra olive oil, extra wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? You got to be somebody that's dedicated to have a desire, have a delight for this thing, right? It says, it says, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. The bridegroom is YAHAWASHI. And it's even symbolic to when YAHAWASHI was praying before Judas came with the Sartorians, the guards, to come take him to the council, right? What was they doing? They were asleep, right? It says, and at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answering said, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with them. They that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Right? When you see in this verse, you got to be ready when YAHAWASHI come. Don't wait until now you see the sign of YAHAWASHI coming. Now you want to get ready. Let's read that verse again. It says, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Right? The wise didn't wait for YAHAWASHI to come to get ready. They were ready already. So when he came, it was time, and the other ones wasn't ready, which were the foolish, the 2/3. You non-believers, you got to be ready. The door was shut. Guess what? That goes with Noah. After Noah finished and all the animals came in, the water coming down, the Lord, Yahweh, shut the door. The door is about to be shut. None of us is going to be able to open it out and let none of you foo-foos in. You got to come rushing to YAHAWASHI, being ready now. Like why I'm in my car, why I'm working not a 9 to 5, but 5 then I'm working full time. Whatever you doing, I don't care if you getting money, if you poor, you broke, whatever you doing, get that oil now, right? Because the Lord is gonna come, man, when you least expect it. Don't try to get in this thing at the last second, because to try to get in this at the last second, you might not get lucky, right? Verse 11, it says, afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, I know you not. The door was already shut, man. I don't know you. You're not ready. Those that's of the Lord are ready. We're not waiting at the last second. We ain't waiting. We ain't gonna have everything. We're not gonna have nothing prepared and then expect the Lord to come and we ready. No, you want to have everything ready so that, say, if you go to another direction, you're not shit out of luck. That's the whole point of this narrow path, striving, right? So again, when we sing in verse 25 in Luke 13, it says, the master of the house has locked the door. It will be too late. You will stand outside knocking and pleading, Lord, open the door for us. But he will reply, I don't know you or where you come from. That's in the NLT, right? The door will be locked and it would be too late. You know how Jake is. The 12 tribes, we always late to something. You want to be on time. To be on time is to get it now. Get it while it's hot, right? When you go to freaking Applebee's, certain restaurants where you get a certain meal on the order, I mean on the menu, they when they cook it, they put it on the skillet so it can stay hot. This truth is always hot. You got to get it now, because when that door closed, really is when the famine of the word come. We're not teaching no more. The elect is already good. They food already consumed in their belly. It's going to be too late for y'all. That's why this path is so hard, because you got to occupy yourself in this now, right? Let's actually get that one too in Luke the 19th chapter. Again, we're going to go back to Luke the 13th chapter so that we could deal with that word strive. This is Luke chapter 19. This is a parable about the pounds. Starting at verse 11. It says, and they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of God should immediately appear. What's a parable? An earthly story, but a heavenly matter, right? It says, he said, therefore, a certain noble man went into a far country to receive himself a kingdom and to return. That nobleman is YAHAWASHI. The kingdom is the elect, those that get the salvation on this side. It says he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds, and he said unto them, occupy till I come. The 10 pounds is symbolic, anonymous with your faith, right? Double up your faith, right? That pound going to the work, right? Like Paul and Apollo, one water, one plant, but the Lord gives the increase. So you got to keep planting. You got to be a gardener in this thing, right? Don't touch the flowers. Wait, get off my garden. You got to constantly plant, right? When winter time come, them plants die, and then spring come. Now you about to get back to watering those plants so that they can blossom. If they're not blooming at a good enough time, you can get more seeds and plant those things, right? We have to double up by the time YAHAWASHI come back. Double up within yourself, double up in your household, double up for the elect, because the direct, who is these servants? It's the men of the Lord, right? And of course, every time I do a lesson, I try to incorporate women too, but everybody has to know the main workers of this ministry are men, right? I don't know if I'm the elect, right? I can't do this teaching on my own, right? The Lord has to move me to doing this. He has to give me that gift. And I believe that I am a man of the Lord. I believe that I am a prophet. That's what comes with faith. You believing you a man of the Lord. Being willing to take correction. Being willing to bring forth sound doctrine. Being willing to say, I seen the men of the Lord, the true prophets. And guess what? I'm learning under them to sharpen myself. Faith will draw you to bring sound doctrine of men that the Lord planted in this thing before you, because they got planted, you got planted. So synonymous, you'll see that growth in other people. And guess what? You can see if this truth is constantly going out, you still have to double up. You still have to occupy in this thing, right? So starting with the men of the Lord, starting with the teachers, the 144,000 prophets, and then the rest of the other men, and even women and children, how you men order your household, how you order your wife, how you order your children, right? Those is your sheep too. Of course, that's your sheep, because that's your household, right? The more you order them, the more you watching, observing, the more you correcting them, the more you dealing with their situations. Sometimes you got to put your stuff aside. Then sometimes you got to forsake your house, because the Lord is calling you to be a servant. And this is more important, because it's not just only for your household that you want to get salvation. You want the house of the Lord, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, the elect. So sometimes you got to forsake your house and constantly be teaching the sheep, constantly observing, constantly looking, examining yourself, and being an example for your household to actually see, man, look how he enduring. Look how he's striving. Look, he trying to get to that narrow gate. Because sometimes you could be teaching your family, and sometimes through the Spirit, they might not have the faith or the drive like you. But the more they see you in action, the more they see that you endure, The more you forsaking them and you telling them this is more important, the more your family is learning because of your actions, right? Because that's another way how somebody can come in this truth, because they see how serious or how you enduring affliction in this thing, right? Let me get one more before we go back to the Luke. I want to get this joint about Paul, if I can find it. Let's see if we can find it. This is Acts chapter 9, starting at verse 13. It says, Then Ananias answered the Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he have done to thy saints at Jerusalem. And here he have authority from the chief priest to bear all that call on thy name. What name was that? YAHAWASHI. But, you know, of course, everybody was saying the same thing we saying now, YAHAWASHI. But the Lord, which is Hamashiach Yahushai, said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake. Right? Those that's going towards that narrow door, you're going to suffer on the side, starting with the men of the Lord. Oh, brother, you leaving everybody else. The history merely repeats itself. The men of the Lord are back on the earth, and they're in their lot. The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. The prophets are going to suffer on a different level. Everybody going to suffer, especially Jacob Trouble, the MOTV, right? But everybody has a different suffering, right? Women, your suffering is way different. Men's suffering is way different, right? But we need the men of the Lord to suffer on that level, because it's going to encourage you. Just like you need the men of the Lord to constantly do lessons, because it encourages you. It helps you get understanding. It helps you get baptized every day. Not dipped in water, but baptized by understanding. A brother can go into the lesson of hell, which the Christian church is polluting, or reincarnation. Salvation is for Israel, right? How is the kingdom going to look for the other nations? History, right? Going into parables, the 10 talents, the 10 pounds, right? The rich man, the poor man, right? Going into Revelation 6, going into 2nd Esdras, going into the mysteries, going into the dark sayings. That's how you get baptized, because you getting cleansed every day through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because you once had this truth to those that are of the elect. That's why it's hard. You got to work hard to enter into this narrow gate, right? So now let's go back to that Luke 13 and 24. Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able, right? And you got many on this side that's trying to enter in. They want to enter in by a different name, Jesus, right? And of course, we were whitewashed with that name, polluted with that name. But now that knowledge increased, Jake should be calling on the right name. But then they say Yahawashai, but it's Yahuwah. So people rather accept the modern. So you can see certain steps that, okay, Jake can grow. Okay, they in the name of Yahuwah, Yeshua. Hey, eventually, hey, they might go into Yahawashai. Then you find years later, or months later, or days later, they still saying Yahuwah and not Yahawashai. So truly, a lot of us is not getting baptized. A lot of us is truly not getting edified and growing, because a lot of us just want that little tingling feeling. Sometimes you want to have that dang feeling, like, man, that happened. Dang, we going through this. Dang, that happened. Right? Because a lot of learning in this thing is like a sad thing, an angry thing, right? Because right now we get to change those things if we're filled with the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, where you get to strive to be in this narrow path. And in this narrow path, you calling on the right name. In this narrow path, you believing in sound doctrine. You're believing in 100% truth. Every day you're cleaning your garment so that it has no blemish, right? In the NLT again, work hard to enter the narrow door to Yahweh's kingdom, for many will try to enter, but will will fall, right? And before I go into that strive again, because I want to show that that is YAHAWASHI, it is Saint John, the 6th chapter, right? Because it says, work hard to enter the narrow door to God's kingdom, right? Kingdom is kingship. When you go into the word kingship, it goes into the Masonic or Hamashiach's kingdom. So that kingdom is established under YAHAWASHI. So we can't get the kingdom without YAHAWASHI. So this St. John 6:44, it says, no man can come to YAHAWASHI, except the Father which have sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last days. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man, therefore, that have heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me. Right? So if you learned of the Father, right, which we go into the Old Testament and other miracles and things that the Heavenly Father have done, it's going to always lead you to YAHAWASHI. Not that any man have seen the Father, save he which is of God, he have seen the Father. But it all goes in, no man can come to YAHAWASHI unless the Father draw you to the Son, and then the Son is going to raise you up in the last days. Raise you up in the last days is leading you to the Heavenly Father, right? Because without YAHAWASHI, you cannot be led to the Heavenly Father. That's the whole point for the New Testament, YAHAWASHI. The New Testament is all about YAHAWASHI. That YAHAWASHI is the stumbling block, not the law. You can't even master the law being in this flesh where you got Jake in this truth. I don't sin. If you don't sin, there's no point of even teaching about YAHAWASHI. There's no grace for you then. Right? There's no favor because now it's just about law. Right? We want to establish the law because that's our culture, that's our custom, that's what the Lord have given us, that's our heritage. But now that YAHAWASHI came, we want to receive justification through faith in Hamashiach Yahushai, who the Lord sent to redeem us, to redeem those that's under the law, right? To redeem those, to give us the victory over the sting of death, which is sin. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, I believe either 54 or 56, right? The sting of death is sin. And we need YAHAWASHI to get that victory, right? So now, since we went and we dissect a few verses, we definitely did. So when we get to this word strive in Luke the 13th chapter, G75, agnozomia. Let's see. Agnozomai. That's in the Greek. It got multiple biblical usage, but we want to go to the point. This is a metaphor to contend, struggle with difficulties and dangers, right? Or labor fervently, right? When you go into this word fervently, it is very enthusiastically or passionately, right? So you have to strive passionately or enthusiastically, or to contend. We got to contend. You got to contend to be the elect. You have to struggle to be the elect, with difficulties to be of the elect, to go through this narrow door, in dangers, right? And it's a point that I want to get to with that. This is Colossians 1:29. It says, whereunto I also labor, striving according to his work, which worketh in me mightily. And that striving is G75, right? To contend, to struggle, right? To struggle with difficulties and dangers, right? Labor fervently, right? Enthusiastically, right? Passionately. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 7, because if this is dangerous or danger, 2nd Esdras 7 verse 3, it says, and I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, and like a river, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Right? If you can't go through the narrow, who's the narrow? YAHAWASHI. Right? Before we finish reading that, because again, in order to get to the straight, strive to enter the straight gate is the narrow path, right? But it's a gate. So you want to get through that narrow door. Who is the door? Right? Let's just make it plain for ourselves, right? We want to boast and glorify in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right? This is St. John chapter 10, in verse 7. It says, Then said Yahushai unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. Not all Israel, but for the elect. Because Yahushai know, because he said he didn't pray for the world, but he prayed for them that the Lord has given him. He's not talking about the whole world with all nations. He's talking about the world of Israel, because the Lord didn't give Yahushai everybody in Israel as the elect, as the first fruit. He gave him the elect, starting with the 144,000, the first spirits, right? When we go to St. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. The Lord loved Israel. He loved the world of Israel, that he gave his son to die for the nation of Israel. This is why the 2/3 are going to be able to get back into the kingdom by reincarnation, right? Because Yahushua died for the whole nation of Israel sinned, because they was given the law. We couldn't complete the law because of being in this flesh. But the elect have obtained that salvation, right? So again, St. John 10:8, it says, All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pastures. When that verse said that they didn't hear the robbers and the thieves, this is the example. A lot of us be in certain philosophies before we came in the truth, and then you follow the Lord. Guess what? You was never really in there. That goes in the same of the truth. If you in this, you call the name of the Lord, and you're able to get sifted out. You was never in this thing. If oh man, I need money, and because you need money, you stop doing the work, you stop striving for the Lord, you was never in this thing, right? But say I was in Christianity, and now I'm calling the name of the Lord. Now I'm actually teaching the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, speaking about the elect. Guess what? I was never truly in Christianity. It looked like it because I was of the world. But soon as the Lord tapped in, soon as the Lord Yahweh guided me to his son, right, and the Lord supped with me in my mind, now I'm in something that's more permanent, more beneficial, something that is true, right? So Yahushai is the door. He says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. We find pasture in Yahushai. That goes with Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, right? Because having Yahushai, we don't want for nothing, right? Because everything is everything that we're going to get, everything that you will desire and want that we can see in the scriptures, it all is going to go through Yahushai. Glorified bodies, right? That heavenly body, you got to get it from Yahushai. Everlasting life from Yahushai. The mansions, being able to travel in the mansions, being like King David, being like God, being like the angels. Hey, that all is going to come through Yahushai when he comes on that great day during the time of Jacob trouble / Armageddon, right? Yahushai is that narrow path, plain and simple. Second Ezra again, chapter 7, in verse 5, it says, Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of good is full of all good things, right? That city is the physical New Jerusalem, right? Through the spirit which we're striving to get, not that land that's defiled now, because the Lord is going to destroy that, right? Through the spirit, Yasharallah is within YAHAWASHI, right? It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall. That goes back into the word strive, right? To strive is in a difficult sense or a dangerous sense, right? And we got to be passionate in this thing. You got to be laboring fervently, even though it's difficult. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. Like, damn, how am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna get through this? It's difficult, right? And even coming in this truth, another difficult is like you see the amazing things in the scriptures, you meditate on it, then you just come back into reality like, man, I'm still in this place. In any time you could fall and slip, because it's all of YAHAWASHI. If you grow in knowledge or if you fall in knowledge, if you don't obtain the knowledge, it's all in YAHAWASHI, right? This is Acts 14:22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, like encouraging them to continue in the faith. This is what every lesson is about, in that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of heaven, right? You got your mental tribulation that you're going through, right, which always lead to the spiritual, right? And then we're going to have that physical tribulation, which still leads to the spiritual, right? When you see the famine of the word, right, you ain't teaching no more. So everything that brother's been doing, or, you know, the other sheep that's probably not teaching and just hearing the word, everything you've been doing while things been in motion is going to count that cost when the famine of the word come, when the MOTB come, right? When the love of many wax cold, when Jacob's trouble come. Are you applying? Look, that's going to be that physical tribulation. Some of y'all are going to be taken and have to be murdered, right? It's going to see is you're going to say, you know what? Oh man, I don't want to die. You know what? I'll take it then. Are you going to surrender, or are you going to still be strong? When John the Baptist was in that prison because he told what's his name not to lay with his brother's wife, right? Then he got beheaded. We don't see the verse where John the Baptist said no, no, no. Or John the Revelator where he got boiled in oil, or when he was in prison, right? Which is just like Rikers Island. Lord willing, I said it right, right? So we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of heaven. You have to suffer to get that kingdom. It's not just all peaches and cream and a peach cobbler and you get it. Nah, it's going to be difficult and hard. Right? Look what Stephen had to go through before he went to the heavens, man. Getting stoned, people getting angry because he's saying through the spirit he see Yahawashi on the right hand side of the Father, right? Right, when you go to Matthew 7:14, saying the same thing as Luke, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, few there be that find it. Right? It just said two words, way and life. Let's go to the classic in St. John, the 14th chapter. In verse 6, it says, Yahawashi saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. Yahawashi is the narrow path, because he's the way to the Father, man. He's the way to life. He's the way to get right with YAHAWASHI. Salaki family. He's the way to the Heavenly Father, YAHAWASHI. Right? Going back to 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, in verse 8, it says, one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Right? The Lord is bringing you in this narrow path one by one. Right? And through the Spirit, this is how everybody getting this truth at different times, man. Like, you know, starting with Elder Pastor, he been in this thing for 40 years. The truth only been out here technically for 50 years. 50 years, man. It really, whatever time you got, because I know I know I ain't the only one. A lot of us, man, I wish I would have gotten this at this age, man. I wish I would have knew this truth when I was 22, right? And hey, I know we all wish we could have, would have, should have, wished that, right? But the Lord brought you in at the right time. You know, really, when he brought you in, he saved you from a bullet, right? Because to be of this world, you never know. Say if all this time you was in this truth, like I've been in this thing damn near eight years, if we was to really say 7 years. Regardless of that, what if those 8 years I was still in the world, consumed? Something else would have happened. I definitely would. I probably know for sure I wouldn't have my Uzziah and Uriah. You know, something else would have happened. You never know. But coming in this truth, it's a different twist, right? Let alone I probably would have still been. I would have probably been a little more closer to my family, and it's not even them. It's really me. It's really the spirit. Because, and you know, I even chill with people that's not my family that took me in, because they'll have more conversation with me about the Lord, even though it's no respect of person. They still might not even get it either. But with family members saying you weird, just like I believe other brothers, they had problems too. Man, you weird, or you crazy. I heard that from family members of my blood. So that kind of turned me off from even being around them. But when it's people that, you know, I was in the world with, right, that be like, man, yo, you changed your life, man. Yo, you my role model. Yo, one day I'm gonna take that serious. Not even saying that they gonna take it serious. I don't try to rub this word on them, but I shine my light on them because they had more of a conversation of the Lord with me than family members just saying I'm weird, right? Sometimes in the spirit, it will draw you away, you know, from people, right? Because you get disgusted, right? Because that's the whole thing about teaching. If they don't get it, move on, you know? And this is the hard part about it. Some of your family, some of your friends, they might look at you different. They might talk about you shit. They might talk about your girl. Shoot, they might talk about your man. Oh, he weird. Oh, he's doing this, right? Oh, you watch it from Germany? That is crazy. See, this is how we know the unicorn, Job 39. The unicorn, when you look at the satellite, the thing sticking out, that's symbolic to like the unicorn. But the word is going 4 corners of the earth without me being in Germany. And this person is watching in Germany. That is crazy, man. So again, 2nd Esdras 7 and 8. This path is so small that there could only be one man to go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? This verse is showing you the only way you can get this inheritance, only way we can get that kingdom, is if we go through this dangerous path. Right? This dangerous path. You said in Germany, we say the world is small. Technically it is, but it's bigger than what we think. But how we gonna enter into this inheritance if we don't go past this dangerous path? This how you know that this whole thing is not really made to be easy. A skip and rock in a park. No, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be bumps in the road. You're gonna be bumping head with Jake, nigga Jake, the women, and bumping heads with men. Shoot, even bumping heads with kids. Just at work, this 18-year-old boy tried to rob not an elder, but somebody that's in an older age car, and he, you know, tried to rob him with a gun. And that same person that had that car turned around and said, "No, you ain't taking my car," and he still threatened me. Like, "Man, I'll pop you if you don't." That man turned around and shot that 18-year-old, I think, in the chest and in the head. He in the spirit world now. It's monstrous children out here, right? And you got some Jake that say they in his truth, and they fighting with Jake, cutting them out or all up in their face. This ministry is not about just because yes, they is being hard-headed. You want to hit your head with them, but we supposed to be circumspect in this thing. Be cautious. We can't force Jake to hear this word. Soon as you see a demon, somebody not hearing this word, move on. Why is Jake showing a video of them fighting a Jake in the world? because they didn't want to hear this word. That's going to help put blame on the ministry, right? Our number one weapon is this word. Our weapon of warfare is not carnal. It's mighty through YAHAWASHI, and it's this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This is what makes this so hard, because a Jake can walk past you and spit on you. Now, I'm not saying be a punk, because literally, we definitely supposed to have respect, right? If they swing at you, it's not saying just allow the swing to hit you. You better defend yourself, and then after that, move. Go to another location, because at the end of the day, look how fast Jake get. They get that phone and start recording, right? Yes, defend yourself, but at the end of the day, the number one thing we're supposed to be doing is teaching, feeding the sheep. He didn't tell Peter, fight the sheep, feed the sheep. And who is the sheep? The elect. Already when you know violence, negativity, wickedness, or whatever the heck it is, you should be moving. Like the one video of IUIC teaching, and the dude wasn't, he was yelling, and that was cool, but the other dude was smoking, blowing weed all up in their face. And he said, okay, after we teach the word, what's next? And he's still asking the same question. Guess what? He don't want to hear the word. Why? Keep it moving. Keep it freaking moving. Shouldn't be having no debate outside with Jake, right? You should be just feeding the sheep, truly through the Spirit, looking for the elect. But really, you're supposed to be doing what Paul and Apollo did, right? Apollos, what they do? Plant and water. Plant and water. Let YAHAWASHI, he's doing the hard work. Shoot, the Lord is the one that moves you. Right? So again, if we don't enter into this dangerous path, how are we going to get that kingdom? Right? Let's look at it. Because in a minute, Jake, coming in this truth, we're going to start looking more like we're not bug outs, but to the ones that's not of this faith, we're going to look like we're bugged out. Right? I want to get this point. This is Acts, the 7th chapter, verse 51. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Rakakwadash, as your fathers did, so do ye. Now, when we say, when he said you resist the Rakakwadash, this man was bringing history from verse 37 all the way to 49. History all the way from Moses, going all the way through the history, and they couldn't receive it. So what was that meaning when he's saying you resist the Rakakwadash? That's going into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That understanding. Let me get 2nd Ezra real quick, the 14th verse. The 47th verse. It says, for in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. Let's go to St. John, the 7th chapter. So what is that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding if it's a stream? If it's symbolic to water, what is it? St. John 7, starting at 37, it says, in the last days, that great day of the feast, YAHAWASHI stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. And we already seen a stream, a fountain, right, which is all symbolic to water. But 39, but this spake he of the Spirit. So when he was talking about living water, he was speaking of the Spirit, which they that believe on him shall receive, for the Rakakwadash was not yet given, because that YAHAWASHI was not glorified. So if you believe in him, you're going to receive the Rakakwadash, which is truly wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So when he was bringing forth the understanding all the way to even speaking of YAHAWASHI, they couldn't receive it, because Moses spoke of a prophet rising up like him. Deuteronomy 18, verse 15, 18, and 19. And they couldn't get it. The Pharisees couldn't get it. You non-believers couldn't get it. So he said, ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Rakakwadash, as your fathers did, so do ye. So they were resisting the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If you can't get, wait, how are you believing in YAHAWASHI? And it's somebody trying to give you the understanding all the way from the history to leading to him, and you can't get it through the spirit, you're resisting it. Just like your father, your mother, your auntie, your cousin, your homie Gigi, right? If they're resisting it, guess what? They're resisting the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? The water. Verse 52, it says, which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them which showed before of the coming of the just one, which is YAHAWASHI, of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the disposition of angels and have not kept it. When they heard, look, and if we couldn't keep the law, this is why YAHAWASHI came into play. It says, when they heard these things, they were cut to the heart and gashed on him with their teeth. But he, being full of the Ruach HaKodesh, looked up standfastly unto heaven and saw the glory of God and YAHAWASHI standing on the right hand of God. So through the Spirit, he was actually really seeing it, because he was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh. He was filled with understanding. So he seen it. And behold, I seen the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God. And they cried out with a loud voice, and stopped their ears, and ran upon him with one accord, and cast him out of the city, and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their clothes at the young man's feet, whose name was Saul. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God and saying, Lord YAHAWASHI, receive my spirit. Right? Hey, Jake, can you even imagine that? And they stoning you and you still calling on the name of the Lord? Some of y'all couldn't even handle that. Literally. Now, just because it's not happening now, oh yeah, I can. Humble yourself. A lot of us couldn't. Look, I played dodgeball in school. Like now, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time I'm ducking. But I did get hit. But we talking about some rocks. Is you willing to get hit for the Lord? And even one stone hits you, 2, 3 stones, and you still calling on YAHAWASHI, he still didn't deliver you yet. But after the 10th stone, he delivered you. Is you willing to get hit by 7 stones and still call on the name of the Lord? Still hold your integrity in the Lord? Right? We go through the little things by people verbally speaking about the apostles and anybody following them. Watch when something physical happens. Watch when some of you brothers, you could be somewhere and you might not be on YouTube, and National Guards or people that work, you know, for the government come up and arrest you. You be like, hey, what have I done? Oh, you were teaching against this system. Oh, we seen your YouTube. Man, you're gonna be stuck like a deer in headlights. But what is you gonna do? You're gonna yield, agree with your adversary quickly. But truly, those that are of the elect, of course you're gonna agree, but guess what you're gonna be thinking? You're gonna have a spiritual smile and be like, YAHAWASHI. This is that tribulation. This is that physical tribulation I'm at. So this is my turn to deal with this. Now I gotta go to jail, or I gotta go in the FEMA camp. Right? I gotta get beheaded for this. Or you might find yourself on the run, chilling in your house, such and such, and now they knocking at, you see them knocking at everybody's door, and the spirit say, run, go, I'm gonna give you a path, run and don't look back, don't come back, don't take anything with you. Right? Hey, Jake, you gotta have it in your mind, the worst is gonna come. Don't just think because you living all good, everything chill. Oh, I'm in a spot where it's quiet, I'm living in the hills. Guess what? You got to have in your mind the worst is going to come. Because Paul was set up to suffer. He was a chosen vessel to suffer. We just read in 2nd Esdras 7 and 8. It says, one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Let's speak about YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI had to get tempted, right? Get threatened to get killed, right? To get trapped by questions, then to get crucified. And people, before even get crucify him and choose a robber, a murderer over him. Right? He had to go through that. Then he tell the 2 sons that, do you think you're going to have to sip of the same cup? He said, yeah, surely you is. So even you men of the Lord, you're going to have to sip of the same cup. Hey, I might have to sip of the same cup as all the other brothers, but mine might be different. This brother might go in a FEMA camp. That brother might go to jail. That brother might be beheaded, and I might have to be on the run. Family in a difficult situation, right? You might have to starve, not even starve. We're going to look at it as fasting for 2-3 days. The Lord might bless, have a bird come and bring a loaf of bread, or bring some dandelions and we eating that. That's a form of suffering in this tribulation. You got to have a thought in your mind that the worst is going to happen. I'm not going to think Jacob Trouble, I'm going to have a big, long supper, but I know YAHAWASHI is going to provide. What if it's no food, but it's water, something to drink? What if it's nothing to drink, but we got food, and it's the juices from the flavor of what you eat? Something is either somebody getting something. We're going to suffer. And if you abide in YAHAWASHI, you remain in YAHAWASHI, you're going to suffer. The brother Mashak is in the building. YAHAWASHI, Barakatah. Right? Definitely, if you want to get edified, tap into the brother's channel. Subscribe to it. Not for entertainment, but subscribe to it to get edified. Nothing more, nothing less. To get edified. Right? So again, this path is dangerous. We've seen YAHAWASHI suffering. We've seen Paul. And a lot of the disciples, which the apostles technically, they all had to suffer a certain death. Like John the Revelator, so-called got boiled in oil. But he died a peaceful age, right? He got delivered from that and died a peaceful age, right? Even the old prophets, Daniel in the lion's den, being in front of hungry lions, but the Lord shut their mouth. Still an example and a memorial for today where we could talk about those things to humble ourselves, right? And even more why I'm bringing this out more, because what's going on overseas, what's going on with Israeli and Iran. The worst is yet to come. Jake is all in La La Land. Somebody just killed somebody, I think, the other night, right? Jake in La La Land and don't know what the hell. They don't care what's going on overseas because America is still in motion. LA dealing with that, but I'm all the way in New York. We good. Or I'm in Rochester, man. Yeah, Jake is so comfortable. I pray that YAHAWASHI bring the worst in Babylon, bring the worst in the world, right? All you fools that's comfortable, I hope the Lord make you so uncomfortable. I want it all to get cut off. Internet, food stamps, your job. I want all of it. Let's see who really about YAHAWASHI. Let's see who really gonna call on him. Who's playing? Who's the fake from the phony? Right? Because this is a dangerous path. Right now, you think everything good and dandy, right? Every time brothers doing lessons and even studying themselves through the Spirit, them brothers is sharpening themselves up for what the worst to come. Brothers is eating healthy. Brothers is doing they workout for their body, and it's not really just to look good for this moment. It's for whatever is about to come. Make yourself fit. Hey, it might come that you might have to be doing lifting. You might have to be walking far. So you working out your legs so that you can walk the distance. Right? The Lord is allowing babies and children to grow a certain age. Because when Jacob trouble come, you hoping that YAHAWASHI allow your babies not to be crying. Or to be able to be mobile instead of carrying them for damn near mad hours. Right? I'm thankful that the Lord is letting my children grow. But still, I still got to think. I got a whole lot of girls. They might be a burden in that time. Period. Maybe can't walk. Oh, I'm thirsty. They might not have the energy or the drive like I do. Guess what? I got to pray for that too. Jacob trouble is a thought you got to have in your mind. Whatever's going on overseas, eventually that wave is about to hit. America is not about to be the safe haven anymore. Right? So back to 2nd Esdras, the 7th chapter, in verse 9, gotta highlight that, man. If you can't enter this dangerous path set before you, how you gonna receive that inheritance? How you gonna get the kingdom? Everybody want it easy. This is hard, man. Verse 10, it says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Right? Is Israel portion. It says, because for their sake I made the world. The Lord made the world for Israel's sake, to rule it under YAHAWASHI. And when Adam transgressed my statute, then was decree that now is done. Then were the entrance of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, like terrible times, and very painful. For the entrance of the elder world were wide and short, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are led up for them, right? The things that's going to come with YAHAWASHI. That's why you want to endure this hard, difficult path. The brother put 1 Peter 4:1 in the NLT. So then, since Hamashiach suffered physical pain, you must arm yourselves with the same attitude he had and be ready to suffer. 2, for if you are willing to suffer for Hamashiach, you have decided to stop sinning. Come on, let's write that down real quick. Hold on, wait a second. Let's get that. We're gonna put that in the side arsenal real quick. We're gonna put that in the arsenal. We might end up doing a lesson on him. That right there, that one hit. We already know it's hitting in the KJV, but how that just wordplay in the NLTZ. Hold on, wait a second. That brother just hit us with a Okie McDokey. Right, because I'm always bringing something out in that chapter. Yeah, NLT. Let's read that again. 1 Peter 4:1 in NLT. It says, so then, since Hamashiach suffered physical pain, you must arm yourselves with the same attitude he had, and be ready to suffer too. For if you are willing to suffer for Hamashiach, you have decided to stop sinning. Right, that right there is plain. Right, if you're willing to suffer for like YAHAWASHI, or suffer for Hamashiach's sake, right, you decided to stop sinning. It says, and how is that? Because your focus is thinking on what's coming next. In the NLT, when we went back to Luke 13:24, it said work hard. Right, let's see that again. I'm gonna read the next verse that he put. It says, work hard to enter the narrow door to God's kingdom, for many shall try to enter but will fail. And when you go into that word strive in the KJV, it goes into difficult or danger, right? And in this dangerous path, you have to set yourself ready. That daredevil thing in the Niagara Falls, a lot of them got to train to do that. When Peter was walking on the water, before he went in there, he was able to walk because he had faith. He prepared himself with faith. But as soon as he got in that situation, he was too overwhelmed by the wind, the water moving, and then he sunk. We got to make sure that the overwhelming is right now, because when all hell is breaking loose, left, right, trigger, square, you might fold. But if you're working on yourself now, right, be willing to suffer like Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, you're going to be able to overcome it. Verse 2, it says, and you won't spend the rest of your life chasing after evil desires, but you will be anxious to do the will of God. See, this is how you overpower the things that can be evil. Now, being in the flesh, some of us, yes, we do slip. Like those that's truly in this faith, and being in the flesh, you slip sometimes, but you get your ass back up. Right? They say Humpty Dumpty fell, he had a great fall, he didn't get back up. But a just man falls 7 times, but get back up. 7 is a spiritual number, right? A completed number, right? So you can fall 20 times, but the elect is going to always get up. Don't you know you kept coming back in this world in a new flesh, and kept not knowing this truth, and kept doing whatever you was doing in the world, and the Lord brought you back in? That's another example of you falling and getting back up, let alone within your life. You know, now we in this truth, a plague of the mind, your anger, you slip some type of way. But just knowing that, so then since Hamashiach suffered physical pain, you must arm yourselves with the same attitude he had, and be ready to suffer. You got to be ready to suffer. You got to be ready to suffer, man. What is it in 2 Timothy about being a soldier? right? What do soldiers have to endure? They have to endure suffering. Somebody yelling in their damn face, right? Let's get it. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, starting at verse 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach, the favor that is in Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, in the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of YAHAWASHI Mashiach. A soldier is going to endure the terrain, endure the what is it, the obstacle, right? You got soldiers crawling under barbed wire, under muddy muddy conditions, right? Let alone being in war, right? Guns shooting, bombs you can't even see, grenades just flying in the air, you can't see it, missiles you think you're not in the way, but it fall like what, 20 steps away from you, and you still get the aftermath. You get swung right into a wall, but you still able to move and function. You might get a metal hit in your side, and you pull it out. You got a aid kit, or you got somebody that's a medic, and they sew it up or they stitch it, and you moving with a cut wound. But through the spirit, you come with spiritual swords, right? War swords, right? It says, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. That's why we can't mix one or the other, right? It's like what they say, you can't mix work with politics or work and religion. So even in this, even though, of course, we still have a life, you want to make sure that you're constantly fulfilling yourself with spiritual things, right? Because you want to be alert at all times. You want to be aware. You want to know your surroundings, right? Let's get some more. This is Luke 21:36. It says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be counted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. It said, watch and pray always. Always be in prayer with the Lord, right? Because that's one thing we can't continue to endure in this thing and we ain't praying. You don't, if you're not watching to see what's coming, right? What he said in 2 Ezra 9, measure forth the time. You should always be watching, right? Let's read this. This is a classic. This is Genesis 32, verse 25 to 26. It says, and when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. This is the angel that's fighting with Jacob. And hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. That's how you got to be, man. You want to strive for YAHAWASHI, that he bless you with everlasting life. Like, you want to make yourself worthy in the eyes of the Lord. The whole purpose is for us to try to show the Lord that we want to be of the elect, right? Let me get that in 2 Peter, I believe. I could be mistaken. It might be 1 Peter 1:10 in the NLT. Nope, it was 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, so dear brothers and sisters, work hard to prove that you really are among those God has called and chosen. Do these things and you will never fall away, right? You have to work hard. Striving, you got to work hard to get that, right? Jacob is fighting an angel that can really, if we really think about it, angels can destroy, one angel can destroy this whole earth. One angel killed 185,000 Syrians, but he couldn't whip Jacob. That goes back to Yasharallah being a prince of power, right? So again, you know, just like Jacob fighting this angel for his blessing, you want to strive in this thing in front of the eyes of Yahweh Shem Shai to get your blessing, to be of those to receive the salvation on this side, right? Through the Spirit. Every Jake that is of this truth, you're truly it. You are battling an angel on the left-hand side. That was set up to tempt you, just like YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI was tempted, the elect gonna be tempted. Job was tempted, you tempted. Peter, the Lord said, the devil wants to sift you out, but I pray for you. And David was the rock of the church, right? You're going to be tested in this thing, especially if you are of the elect. If you are a true believer, you are a target for the left-hand side. The brother put Job 22:21, equate now thyself with him, and be at peace, thereby good shall come unto thee. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacles, right? From your dwelling, right? This is why, through the Spirit, this is why I don't like negativity or wrong in my house. Because guess what? It brings spirits where they see some weakness and they start to play around with people in your damn house, right? If we return to the Heavenly Father, that even goes with Revelation. Don't leave your first love. Our first love, of course, is Yahweh Shem Shai, but your first love is this ministry. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Without those things, we are a target. The 2/3, this is how you get consumed easy. This is how you get consumed easy, because you left the fucking door open, man. Right? The Lord said, he'll knock at the door and sup with you. The door is your mind. If you let your mind open to the left-hand side, they will play tic-tac-toe with your ass. This is why you got either men or women bipolar. I'm bipolar. I'm angry. One minute she happy, one she sad. Like, what? Oh yeah, you got a spirit in you. How one moment you happy, then you mad, then you upset. You wake up angry, and then you happy, and then now you feel lonely. And it could be a woman. You've been around your man all day. As soon as he go out and enjoy, oh, and now I'm lonely. You got a whole demon in you, man. That means you left that door open. You know what? I'm yelling at my kids all the time. Close the door. Guess what they do? They go out and they talking with the door open. Mosquitoes and flies coming in. You leaving the door open. Through the Spirit, you leaving the door open. Right? Let me get that in Matthew, the 12th chapter. Right? This man left the door open because he left his temple empty, man. You can't leave the temple empty. Right? This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 43. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest, and findeth none. Right? He's looking for another home. That's where he's going to find rest. Then he saith, I will return unto my house. The house is the man that he was dwelling in, from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. Right? So a lot of people, you leaving that door open, and other spirits is coming in. Right? One spirit was in you, and that spirit left. And he see how empty you is. He gonna come with 7 or 10 more spirits worse than the first. This is why we be having problems. This is why you have attitudes. This is why a woman is breaking your car, slashing your tire. This is why women and men are having freaking entertaining spirits, because you're leaving your temple empty. You want to always have it filled with Yahweh Shem Shai. Hey, and even if you say if a moment do come where those spirits come, calling Yahweh Shem Shai. This is the point. This is another reason why this path is hard. Let alone what you're dealing with the physical, you're dealing with something way powerful than the physical. You're not wrestling with flesh and blood, but against principalities and high places in the spirit. Right? So you got to strive to enter into that gate. St. John chapter, St. John 6:27, labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. Hey, Jacob's trouble, you're not going to labor or try to do anything just to get any meat. Truly in that day, your faith is going to be known where you calling on the Lord to provide food. If you don't see it right in your eye peripheral, you calling on the Lord. You're not about to go, I'm about to go beat this person up for it. Right? When you don't got no food, I'm telling you, those of faith is calling on the Lord. Daniel is in the lion's den. The Lord had Habakkuk grabbed him by his hair and brought him to Daniel and brought him some food. And when Habakkuk was going to bring that food to another location, to somewhere else, but the Lord made him set that up all up for Dan. Right? Elijah, the ravens came and brought him some food. Right? So we want to really labor for that everlasting life. That's having faith, believing in YAHAWASHI, doing his will. Right? Let's get this one. This is 1 Corinthians 9:24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may attain. Right? So we're running a race. Run to obtain what you're running for. Right? The elect are they're going to be in first place regardless. It says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. Right? NLT, it shows you that athletes, they compete for a corruptible crown. For a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible crown, that immortality. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. Right? Lord willing, this is edifying. You want to strive. You want to work hard to enter into that narrow gate, which is YAHAWASHI. Every day, you're trying to please Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai in everything that you do as a man, as a woman, as a wife, as a husband, even as a child. You want to give all praises, glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakabadash, to Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai for allowing me to be edified and the other believers, Lord willing. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, in the sound doctrine. Lord willing, we all can continue to endure and be sincere. And shalom to the Akwakiyam, believers of His faith and His truth. Lord willing, you can continue to endure and be sincere and strive in the same spirit and sound doctrine. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Shalom, shalom, above.